Hello, everyone. We have reached the finale of Sonic SatAM as a whole. We're at Season 2, Episode 13, The Doomsday Project.
Ominous.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Not only is this the big finale, folks, but this is the episode where I will be drawing up a lot of trivia and facts garnered over the years regarding this show.
So stick around
And.
at the end, I guess.
Oh,
Is Pepe Silvia the
definitely.
culprit?
You'll see. You'll
All right.
see.
Alright, start before the usual intro.
Everyone ready?
Ready.
Yeah.
Yep.
3, 2, 1, click.
So I'll start this episode off by actually telling you what Ben Hurst's favorite characters were according to a newsgroup interview. His favorite
One.
His favorite characters were Sally, Sonic, and Dulcie. He had basically this to say. Sal's also one of my favorite characters, although Dulcie will always have a special place in my heart. The wonderful thing about Sal is that not only is she strong and capable, she can give as well as get in any exchange with Sonic. She doesn't order him around, she cajoles, persuades, convinces him to go in the direction she suggests. But as we all know, if Sonic really doesn't want to go in her direction, it just plain old ain't gonna happen. To me, what truly sets Sally up aside is her heart. She has a deep well of compassion she draws from, and though Sonic is equally compassionate, Sally has the ability to articulate her heartfelt feelings, which Sonic will then agree with too with a, yeah, that. I fell in love with the characters, all of the characters, but my favorites were always Sonic, Sally, and Dulcie, and the relationship between Sonic and Sally was a joy and a pleasure to keep alive.
Oh, him
End
and
quote.
Ben North himself wrote this.
Of course.
He's the
So,
main writer,
let's
so
see what this Doomsday Project is.
Let me guess, a giant robot.
You'll
I mean,
see.
Robotnik has many things, but imagination is not one of them. What?
fire everything. Oh
Also,
my god!
that sound effect,
it's the Crash
yeah.
Graphic Cortex loading.
Sound loading screen. We'll stuck
Yes.
here for eternity. How long is this gonna go on?
Well, don't worry, Sonic. This is the last episode.
That was a acid grenade. Whoop. Well, I guess that was Roder's quota for the episode.
Yep. Well,
Well-
those were his intro episode done. Goodbye.
Why do they continue to let him look out?
Seriously. You think Bonnie would be a better candidate? Oh my god.
Somebody ships it.
Seriously. The only thing Antoine should be shipped with is a boat towards Abu Dhabi.
Uh-oh. Well, that's new.
And ominous.
Behold, Sniffly. I can make a device. I can crack the earth like an egg.
Huh. Like an egg. Maybe we should call you
Well, he kind of did that
Eggman.
in Unleashed, actually.
Pretty much. That's the alarm system.
Although
Yeah.
Unleashed is the plot of Advance Free, actually.
Well, Advance 3, he split the world into dimensions. As opposed to literal puzzle pieces.
Also, if I recall correctly, Advance 3 doesn't have a Chaos God of a Week.
No.
Oh no. That was just as easy. It literally dissolves the animation. Alright, the other freedom fighter groups we established only like 2 or 3 episodes ago.
We don't have the budget to have them all on screen at once.
That looks ugly. That's a claw.
Let's see what it can do.
So it's a glorified carrier.
How long has he been, like, planning this?
For quite
Oh,
some time,
they are the
sir.
leaders.
Where's the Western freedom fighters?
I think it's a Lupe, or the wolf girl. Did you add extra
Oh, there's
spies who got a
Lupe.
weak point?
Oh, there was Lupe.
Mm-hmm. Oh boy. Jesus Christ, are you still bringing me missions?
He's what we've got.
Tails is more productive than him.
But he's the youth, Tio. We don't want to risk the youth's life.
I'm pretty sure it's already compromised. Also, I guess explosive teddy bears.
Hey, he said it.
Oh, you didn't say juice.
Well, that's the thing. His full thing will be juice and jam.
Again, it's been so long since he said juice. Sonic, are you
He's
okay?
experimenting with these phrases, I think.
Robotnik forgot to close his mouth for that still. I don't like the sound of that. Not from the intended way.
Nice save again.
Maybe you should wait until you're out of the room before you make snarky comments.
Yeah. Yeah, seriously, shut up.
Yeah, exactly.
Slap a tape on his mouth.
You were saying?
Oh.
Oh God, he's roboticized the Langoliers to do his bidding.
That's terrible. Like, what are we supposed to have? Like, heat waves?
Basically, they're ones that build off of his motion.
Oh, electricity, okay.
So what? Does Sonic have to stand still?
Yes. But he
Or
can...
once in his life, he has to stop from going... Oh, or he can just do that, I guess.
Yeah.
What? Sonic, you're going Super Saiyan, is it? He almost died. What you were
That's
saying
so
about
funny.
the compassion, Jova?
Sonic has wonderful friends.
Well, Taylor, if you can't laugh at the little things.
Oh, and I love how you can just create the drones with some simple electrolytes. Well,
Oh hi.
as a-
What is Rocksteady doing here?
they were the leader of North and
Oh.
South Division, but I guess they got captured off screen.
So,
Well,
oh boy.
actually, too, we saw them get captured on screen when the spotlight's shown on them.
Well, I think we showed instead on the other two leaders.
No. They also showed the bear and rhino touching
Alright.
down. So, we'll have to wing it.
Okay, Robotnik.
Are we actually going to be doing anything?
Okay, Robotnik, you're letting your ego getting the best of you again.
Well, that's what he does too. It's kind of part of his character. In all incarnations, pretty much.
True, but he still managed to be conniving enough through the 2 seasons.
Well, yeah, too. You can be both conniving, but also let your ego get to you. Case in point, Azula.
He has a button there?
Oh, yes, he does. Wait,
Skylight.
wait. Two. We knew he had a button there. That's how he escaped Antoine's trap.
No,
in season
I
one.
knew he could activate, but I forgot that he had a button on the place on his suit. Jova, what did Banner say again in the interview?
Don't worry.
Seriously.
Well, he's not wrong, sadly.
I know, it's just, again, Sonic is probably the most... Well, okay, I'll save it for the final thoughts.
My main hedgehog.
Yay.
Yes.
This is Batman and Robin. Hey, Robotnik, the heat is on.
Oh, snap.
Don't you mean oh zap?
Whoop.
You couldn't outrun that, could you, Mr. Fastest Thing Alive?
Well, when you sucker punch me like that, yeah.
And there may be more than one party for you to watch out for.
Oh, snap. No beating around the bush or nothing. He's going straight to roboticizing you. Fun
Well,
fact
that tends to be a habit of
This
his.
is kind of a bit like the beginning of Unleashed, where Robotnik lures him directly into a trap road to suck away stuff from him.
I mean, when he first started doing all this, as we saw in the flashback episode, he did keep everyone locked up for a while. But even early on, we saw that, like, when he actually got
sorry,
to
the
power, he was
power enigma
roboticizing
there.
everyone straight away.
You know,
Shitty serials.
Oh,
Of course,
two!
you cheater.
3!
Only two more, and then you got the Olympic emblem.
Seizure, Jesus.
Huh. Anyway, fun fact actually, in the comics, there was a time when Sonic actually did get roboticized. It was actually so ferocious that they had to roboticize Knuckles in order to fight him off, and then turn the two back to normal.
Well,
We blow it up.
Dwibs, how many more times do I have to tell you? You can't solve all your problems by blowing shit up.
Well, it seemed to work for Eggman when he took Robotnik when he took over.
Well, yeah,
the
but
place.
he's the but he's the bad guy, Dwibs. We're supposed to be better than him.
Well, sometimes you gotta fight fire with fire.
Dweebs, are you forgetting the fact that blowing it up was their first option, and yet that didn't work because of the diamond glass?
though unintentionally drove a dweeb's words ring true. The only way to cut a diamond is with another diamond. Documents. Why can't Robotnik keep everything digitally? Sheesh.
Well, because then they'd probably just use Nicole to hack it.
He just kept there like that.
How convenient.
That was easy.
Well, avoidance of cliche, I guess. I don't know.
It's too late in the episode for it
Yeah,
to be fake.
we're rushing everything.
This probably should have been a two-parter.
But no, we had to have that bloody two-parter with Antoine
Well,
and his antics.
The show was
Wait,
The
that
show was-
wasn't a two-parter. That was
Yeah,
a half an hour.
the two-parter was with the time travel plot, which, to be fair, needed it for the lore building.
Yeah. Ah.
And Sally probably vomited from her spinning head.
So yeah, we're trying to have a romantic / dramatic moment here.
That's the thing. There's, I think the problem is that Ben was expecting a third season when he wrote this one.
He was. He
the-
definitely was. And that's the thing. The show was doing pretty damn well, so he really didn't have any reason not to expect a season 3. Literally, as I'm gonna go into more detail, literally it can be summed up as, and Disney happened.
Or the Italian Mafia didn't want to anything to do with Disney.
Wow. So the Mafia have a standard that, we'll touch stuff, but not Disney stuff. We're not that evil.
Kind of like Joker with the
Let me
IRS.
guess. Let me guess. It was a spectacular Spider-Man situation.
Kinda. We'll get to it when we get to it.
Well, you should have kept the one you had safe then, you idiot.
Oh?
Yeah, for once I'm with Sonic.
Yeah.
If we die while doing this, Sal, I just want to let you know that you're the coolest running mate I've ever had after Tails.
Boop.
Well, that's the thing. In this,
Whoa.
in this
No,
show,
we're holding hands.
Well, in this show, Tails is more like his little brother rather than a full-blown sidekick.
What? Oh, and now Sally can also gain super speed.
Power of hand-holding.
Sally's
So...
inherited
It's
the
the
super
power
peel
of-
Oh
out.
god!
Woo!
Ah,
Literally everything
Oh,
is
the
blowing
power
snap.
of love gives you a fucking seizure.
up. Well, apparently it does for Eggman. Sorry, Robotnik.
Don't you see? Dwebs,
Oh, how nice.
how does Dumbledore say it? Sonic and Sally had something that Robotnik didn't have.
So...
Also, Snively's pissed.
Yeah.
What's with all this random cutting? Did Olivier Megaton direct this episode?
Sorry, Dwebs, we have to rush to the ending, so...
Stop!
Oh, escape
Stop!
pod.
Hey, Taylor, I think the editor of Titanic Legend Goes On guest edited this episode.
I think so.
Maybe the Italian mafia got him on the project for this.
Recycled animation.
One of those clips was literally
exactly.
Sonic.
This is literally Titanic Legend Goes
Oh,
On.
wait, no, wait, here's the
Oh,
line.
he said
Here's
it.
the line.
He said it.
He said it, everybody! We can
Woo! And say goodbye.
Skipping, stop!
And
Please.
say goodbye to the
Seriously.
Robotnik Empire.
We can't do it. It's gotta go fast.
Robotropolis is no
Dude, I
more.
don't think I gotta
Seriously.
go faster, Sid. Give us a freaky headache.
Dwebs, gotta finish season 2. Gotta finish show fast.
Oh, he said it too.
All the lines are being said this episode.
See, Sonic, if you spare the catchphrase only, in short bursts, it makes them more effective when you say them.
Sorry, Tia, which catchphrase you talking about?
Way past cool. Also, oh god, Sally puckering for a kiss was awkward to see. Oh, now we can
Apparently Sally
fly.
is now Superman.
And now we're in the Sydney Opera House. La. You just have to jinx it, don't you, Sonic?
Well, technically he didn't, since season 3 got canned. Oh my god, their kisses are making them radioactive!
Unfortunately, Uncle
Little
Chuck will still
sparks
have
are
to
flying!
And then that whole
unfortunate-
blew up when they all died.
Unfortunately, Uncle Chuck still need to be roboticized.
Oh,
Well-
and one moment.
And that's for Charlie Adler to get his revenge by trolling the fan base.
Oh my god, it's the executive that cancelled the show.
Yeah, okay,
Well,
okay.
I hope you like that cliffhanger because
We're not moving from
you
there,
ain't getting
yeah.
shit out of it.
Yeah, that's it. That's
Okay.
as far as the show went.
Oh god, that you meant that.
Jova,
Yeah.
you're not gonna believe this.
What?
I was referencing the Super Mario Bros. Movie.
Oh, wait. I believe it.
You
I'll
do?
believe it. Yeah, I believe at this point. Oh, boy.
Alright, give us that sweet, sweet trivia then, I guess.
Okay, no. First question, which is the one that I'm pressing the more curious about. What was that thing supposed to be?
Metal
Okay.
Sonic, I'm guessing.
Okay, actually, yeah, everyone take your guess of what it was gonna be.
A new
Metal
friend
Sonic.
entirely.
Dwibs, what was your one?
Metal Sonic.
Pedro, you want to take a guess?
I think I remember reading about what it was, but I forgot. But
Want
I
to
don't
take
know,
a guess?
some kind of new robot or something. I don't know.
You are all wrong.
What?
That pair of sinister red eyes was, in fact, Naugus.
Wait, what?
Okay, folks. Yes, that was supposed to be Naugus.
But Naugus did not have red eyes.
Yeah.
Let's just say this would have had to do with something that was established with Season 3, with, Naugus being able to have glow-up red eyes, but sort of a bit of a side effect of whatnot of being in there. So, let's start off with some trivia here and there, because I have a lot, and I do mean a lot, to cover. First off, let's go with what Ben Hurst's favorite episode was. His favorite episode was the Doomsday Project. As he wrote, I used to think it was Blast to the Past, but now I am leaning towards Doomsday. I love the interaction between Sonic and Sally, and the kiss at the end, and the "You'll always be my hero" line. Yes, very cute. So, In case you're wondering, yes, there were plans for Season 3. Why? Because the show was still a big success at the time. It was literally one of the most popular Saturday morning cartoon times of all time. It was going head-to-head with flipping Power Rangers of all times. So you know it was a big deal. The problem was that around the time Disney bought ABC, the proprietors of Dick around the time. Well, not so much the proprietors of Dick, but the ones allowing Dick to put the show on there. So, despite pulling in solid ratings against Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and being connected with a mega-hit game series, the show got cancelled for 2 reasons. First off, Disney had just bought ABC and decided to clean house concerning their Saturday lineup. And many of ABC's stations tended to delay the lineup or preempt it entirely to air local news or sports. As a result, some people didn't get to see the show until USA Network put it on as part of their Action Extreme team block. For those who were lucky to not suffer total preemption, the show either was dumped to an independent station, or as WSB, or as WSB in Atlanta did, aired it early Sunday mornings along with other rejected shows.
Question: wasn't this series airing at the same time as the O.J. Simpson trial?
I don't recall.
That's something to do with it.
It's not mentioned, but if it was around the same time, that could be a possibility, yeah. So, yeah, it's a shame that Season 3 didn't get to happen because there was a lot, and I do mean a lot, planned. Thankfully, years of research documenting interviews and whatnot have revealed to us a good bout of what could have been. And thankfully, I have a list here. And not only will I be going into what could have been, I'm also going to be going into an attempt to actually conclude the series properly that may have gotten sabotaged by a name we are all familiar with. But for now, I have this other bit of trivia to share with you, Tio. Fun fact, pretty much most of the cast actually did perform this show all in the same room. The only one who wasn't there was Julio White, because he was the bigger profile name at the time, so he couldn't always be available. But no, for the most part, they were all voices in one room. So, get this, according to Hearst, the network's demand for Antoine-centric shorts scuppered his plans to include more Freedom Fighter shows, including a jungle-based counterpart to Knothole. So, if you're wondering why we didn't get to see as much about the other factions of the Resistance, that's because of the Antoine-centric episodes which were mandated. Archie would eventually take that idea and run with it, some notable examples being the Down Under Freedom Fighters, led by a wallaby, and Robbo the Hedgehog, a Cockney parody of Robin Hood and his Merry Men. So, yeah, interesting stuff there. So, believe it or not, the entire first season was completely laid out before ABC and Disney swung down the axe here. The Freedom Fighters, now dubbed Freedom Builders, would have begun the process of rebuilding Mobotropolis. With Rotor, yes, Rotor would have actually been back in a starring role for the season. Rotor would have been spearheading the construction effort. Some of that was explored during the middle part of the Archie comics, but this coincided with the soap opera elements coming into play, and it later became moot when Eggman swooped in and took over his counterpart's base of operations. For those who don't know... Oh, don't worry, Dwibs. I'm getting to what they were gonna do with Snively. Anyway,
I was gonna say, were they called as group the Freedom Demolishers or something?
Possibly, who knows? Anyway, Sonic would discover that victory is boring but unknown to him. Snively would be sneaking around Robotropolis and gathering intel on the Freedom Fighters. However, his stint as lead villain would prove short-lived, and in a moment of desperation, he would free Naugus, Robotnik, and King Acorn from the void. The pair of sinister red eyes glaring at the viewer when the show closes belong to Naugus. Naugus would have actually turned out to have been the main villain of Season 3, believe it or not. As a turn of fate here and there. He would have used the king as bait to lure Sally in, and he would have turned Robotnik into the Snively equivalent, in turn downgrading Snively into essentially nothing. Snively would then have defected to the Freedom Fighters, although he would plot to betray them at some point. However, this is where Antoine's development would have come in hand. See, Antoine was also going to have his own arc where he actually does legit become a better fighter. Oh, how much you want to bet that's where a lot of the concepts from in the Archie comic come from? In fact, Antoine would have ended up being the only one to notice and ultimately stop Snively's plans of betraying them. How's that for a fun fact there? So,
Weird.
the show would have eventually confirmed, as some fans had already speculated, that Mobius was Earth all along, with the plot set millennia after a human-purging nuclear war which caused animals to become sapient. Robotnik and Snively were to be the last humans left alive, having been off-world on a space colony mission before the war struck. After betraying and killing the rest of their crew, they returned to Earth and, due to relativity, landed after the animals had already taken stewardship of the planet. Once again, the Archie comic would reuse this concept, but with aliens bombarding the Earth with gene bombs after Robotnik's ancestor dissected their emissary. Wacky stuff, yeah. The Sonic movie, by that I mean the OVA, sort of had a concept similar to that.
Yeah, I remember that.
As for more of what would have happened in Season 3, Tails would have matured and played a much larger role in the Freedom Fighters, even showing a bit of a rebellious side and saving Knothole from a major disaster. His later relationship with Sonic would have been closer to the games. Dulcie would have come into her full powers. All Ben-Hur said about that was, you don't want to see a dragon when she gets mad. Sally would have had a love triangle thing going on where she would be romanced by someone other than Sonic, though not to worry, Sonic would come out at the end. One might wonder if this has to do with the insufferable Jeffrey St. John from the comics, who was Sonic's rival for Sally's affections in the Archie storyline. Sonic would undergo a major personality change at some point. Nicole's backstory would reveal that she was once a Mobian child who was downloaded into a computer by Robotnik. At some point, Nicole would be restored to her former self, becoming a member of the Freedom Fighters. This too is revisited in the Archie comic with Nicole turning into a lynx as a pun on the Atari handheld. At some point, Knothole would get crunched. Whatever that means. And Knuckles was supposed to appear at the end of the season and was going to be promoted to a main character in the also non-existent 4th season. Yet they had a 4th season planned as well.
Damn.
So...
Don't worry, we got to see Knuckles in Underground.
Oh god.
Yes.
Okay, to be fair, just like Jova said, this showcase there was actual forward planning, and we were literally just screwed off by the network. So I'm not gonna give against, the team for like saying, oh, you spent too much time setting up stuff. Because to be honest, aside from the cliffhanger at the end, the season was pretty conclusive. Everything blew up, and Robotnik is supposedly dead. So there is that.
That said, though, the story is not over yet, folks. It's time for the bonus round, which involves two men, Ben Hurst and our good old friend Ken Penders.
Oh no!
So
I never said I was your friend, but go off, I guess.
we never eat soup together,
Ken
soup?
Ken Penders likes to believe he's the best friend to Sonic fans in general, despite everything.
Go on,
So-
He likes to talk out of his ass, but yes, go ahead.
So this requires a lot of context about Ken here. Ken, if you don't know, is someone affiliated with Sonic who has a massive ego complex. He's been accused of backstabbing Ben Hurst, who, is dead, using Ben Hurst's name to try and supposedly crusade writers in his lawsuit against Sega, again, after Ben Hurst freaking died, so, yeah, but there's another thing. See, he believes that Ben Hurst, the writer of Sonic SatAM, passed the torch to him to carry on Sonic after the cartoon ended. This is part of why there's a bit of misconception about the comics supposedly being a continuation of SatAM. He has claimed that Ben Hurst really did pass that torch down onto him. This has turned out to not be the case. So, this is what Ben Hurst had to say on the matter. Just for the record, Ken has often said, paraphrasing here, that Ben Hurst says the torch has been passed down to me for Sonic the Hedgehog, usually expressed in a way to make it appear that I passed the torch to him. Not true. I was just trying to be nice. What I said was that since the comic was ongoing and the animated series was over, the torch had been passed by default to him. I was just trying to prevent a flurry of inquiries from fans pitting his opinion against mine on how the Sonic universe should be sculpted after SatAM ended. The way he has expressed it in the past seems to convey the impression that he has my approval of his work. He doesn't. I've not read a single comic. So why do I...
Seems to be...
Oh, go on.
No, just very quickly, this seems to be a common thing with Ken where he thinks, everybody is enabling him, but no, that's only what's inside his own head. Nobody's giving him permission for anything. Nobody's enabling him. He just loves himself that much.
Yeah, that's the thing, sure. It's gotten to the point where he's alienated some people. Again, some people think that he's borderline insulting the memory of Ben Hurst, who sadly passed away in 2010. So, why do I bring this up? Believe it or not, back in 2000, Ben Hurst was in talks with a Sega executive about cobbling together a movie out of the unmade third season. Something to actually tie things up properly, movie-wise. Now, this is a concept that we do see quite a bit more often done now here and there, especially with a lot of Nickelodeon shows here and there. So at the time it seemed interesting. It would have pretty much wrapped stuff up, and also would have included the origin of Nicole. So, according to Hurst, the executive was receptive. But then Ken Penders heard about Hurst's pitch. Feel free to play the Emperor's March here, because this is where things get pretty dark. Good old Ken Penders contacted Ben Hurst and offered to help him out in turn to include him in the project and share with him his strategy for getting it approved. Two heads being better than one. Shortly thereafter, the executive's attitude towards the project completely changed and it was ultimately rejected. Right after Ben Hurst accepted Ken's help and let him in on the strategy. Now, this hasn't been confirmed that Penders did something, but Hurst himself has his suspicions. In fact, he even voiced his suspicions about Penders going behind his back and sabotaging the pitch in order to promote his own potential Sonic feature, the ever-infamous Sonic Armageddon. So, consider this, guys. The reason that fans may not have gotten a proper conclusion to Sonic SatAM was because Ken Penders very likely may have sabotaged the project behind Ben Hurst's thing for his own little project, Sonic Armageddon. Wow, just wow. For those who don't know, Sonic Armageddon looked freaking awful. Basically, imagine everything grimdark you can imagine. We were going to have animals being tortured on screen, being taken apart piece by piece, visually on screen, mind you. We would have seen Robotnik and Snively physically torturing them and, making them robot piece by piece. Would have been all about that, graphic mutation and all that stuff. And, well, as you can imagine, it was... Well, just imagine this. If anyone who has seen the Larasu Chronicles, and by that I mean the demo pages because it's been since 2014 and that thing still hasn't even gotten its first issue out the door, mind you, it was going to look freaking terrible. But believe it or not, Sonic Armageddon actually happened. It almost actually happened. But you're probably wondering what stopped it. Well, Sonic X did. No, I'm not kidding. Sonic X actually saved us from Sonic Armageddon.
Thank you.
Allow me to explain.
There you
I never thought I'd thank that show, but thank you.
We should thank the lesser of two evils, I guess.
Allow me to explain.
I guess we could add a new tagline to Sonic X. Sonic X.
At least it's not Armageddon.
So let me put it like this. As As for Penders' movie pitch titled Sonic Armageddon, it did gain a lot of traction. But Sega were putting more focus on Sonic X, and they felt it wouldn't be worthwhile to have two running series in two different continuities, especially one that was a darker and looser take on the Sonic franchise. As a result, it was put on the back burner, put on the back burner, put on the back burner, backburn, and then dropped completely. Sega
I can imagine Ken pestering the higher-ups, and then they say, sure, Ken, we'll tell you tomorrow, come on.
Now, in case someone's hoping for Sonic Armageddon to eventually become a thing, well, two things have happened. One, Sega later released their own Sonic film in 2020 with no ties to Sonic SatAM at all. And the second thing, well, there was Ken Pender's infamous dealings with Archie Comics later that decade, which cost a lot of companies a lot of money, and it's likely that, the movie would have been made if, stuff hadn't been caught in the crossfire due to it featuring his characters here and there. So there you go, folks. The story of Sonic SatAM and how it could have concluded and how Ken Penders may be responsible for that. Go figure. So, there you go. That's Sonic SatAM. That said...
Yeah, go on.
That said, though, a lot is to be owed to Ben Hurst for what he did for the show. God rest the man's soul here and there. He did take a concept which, let's be honest, had little to no story at the time, and made an actual good and dramatic story out of it with the show here and there. That's not to say that the Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog didn't do something as well, but this was a lot more of a focused effort, per se. Let me put it this. Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog is like the Looney Tunes of Sonic, meant purely to entertain. This is meant to entertain, but in a lot more of a nuanced way, per se. Both were very exceptional at what they did, though, and I have to say that Sonic SatAM was definitely, it raised the standard of video game tie-in shows, if you ask me.
Mm-hmm. I found it more hilarious that between the two, Adventures on the Hedgehog is arguably the one that has aged the better, because in recent times, shows like that are being reevaluated in terms of comedy quality and high-end slapstick type of behavior. So there's some irony right there.
So guys, what do you think of Sonic SatAM and the history behind it?
Well, for the history, let me start first, and then as well, since I probably have more to say about it. Okay, taking aside what you just said, the news about the plans for third season onward, as it's presented, it's a fine show, but I can definitely tell that it was also a product of its time, and the creators still had to battle through the network, because the first season is more of a jumbled concentration of ideas that they wanted to pull off. Mm-hmm. The second season is where it starts instead to go through a cohesive plot, but you can tell Ben Hurst and the other were still struggling to maintain some themes, and they were having the mandatory lighter episodes with fucking Antoine, the two-parters.
Which is
not the two-parters, but the two mini episodes, essentially. But yeah, it's not. I have to actually see it in a time capsule, because compared to shows today, especially video game adaptation, it was still an early prototype. Still was deciding what to do. But compared to the rest of the Dick cartoon, formula, is definitely one of the better ones. The only one who reaches this kind of scope and idea, I argue it might, emphasis on might, be Captain and the Game Master. And even then, it's general because that still maintains a lot of the Dick traits, complete sometimes lack of animation.
Not only the fact
on way too many jokes and stuff like that, but it's the one that carries a bit more seriousness to it.
Not only that,
Zelda cartoon could not do that.
Oh god, that's the thing though. Captain N, I could maybe respect that if it didn't mutilate every character. That's it.
True.
Hey, guess what, guys? I'm Mega Man.
Aside from that, why was Mega Man? Why was Mega Man green in that show? Whatever.
Well, Tia, we might
It's
have.
not
Tia, I can
like
raise.
he's known as the Blue Bomber or anything.
I can raise you a.
Story for another time, because otherwise this video really becomes too long.
I'll just say this: I raised you a better one. Why was Alucard a dude bro skater in that show?
A skis, yeah. But no, okay. So yeah, it's for the plots in themselves. Season 1 was, despite being more chaotic, I was more okay with it. But season 2 has the trade-off, like you just mentioned, that the more focusedness, unfortunately, is also accompanied by those couple of episodes that are really, really the lowest points of the show entirely. Season 1 really, as far as I remember now, season 1 really didn't have an episode that I particularly hated like that. Season 2, unfortunately, does have one or two cases.
And what a shock! Those are the two that were executively mandated. Almost
really makes you think.
Yeah.
But anyway, as for the actual character, okay, let me minor things also for the score. It's fine. I guess my ears are not really that keen in capturing differences sometimes. In this case, so I couldn't really tell there was a changing composer between seasons. But honestly, it's fine. There are occasionally one or two moments where the MIDI keyboard goes a bit too twangy for the taste of the show. But I do believe it's still fine. As for the characters, let's go in order. Rotor, waste of potential. Like, he has stuff to do in season 1. You get that he's the tech guy. He's responsible for keeping Not All in shape. Season 2 has the problem with the voice actor butchers his character, and the few appearances that he has are minor or annoying, like in the Robot Assistant mini episode.
Rebecca. Let's not forget also one of the creators kind of headed out for Rotor this season as well. But hey, again, he was gonna rise to prominence again in season 3.
Also, why did he look one color in the pilot, then for the rest of the series another, and then when doing the comics he was colored like in the pilot? Like, seriously.
I guess to be fair, purple did help him stand out against a lot of other characters who had blue on them.
Anyway, Dulcie. Dulcie was my surprise of season 2. Very rocky start as for introduction, because I thought she was really going to be annoying. But to give credit where it's due, she does legitimately improve as the seasons go on. I get the idea they should have done just a bit more with her, doing a bit more stuff during the climax, like blowing a ship here and there using her briefing abilities, which she stops using after the episode center around there. That's another bit of wasted potential, unfortunately. But again, pleasant surprise, so there is that. Bonnie. Bonnie was the character that I was hoping to see more in action, because I do believe she had an interesting concept going for, and had potential for exploring stuff, more this film. Instead, she's more prominent in season 1, thankfully, but season 2 relegates more of a background. She's not completely forgotten like Rotor, but she does minor stuff. Doesn't help that most of the conversations she has with Sally are about Sonic. Again, I normally don't really care if a product potentially fails the Bechdel test, but this show does a lot. Again, product of its time, the 90s. This stuff was everywhere. Then Sally. Sally is fine. She has a couple of moments of downside here and there, maybe, especially this final episode where she's like, "Oh, I want to go into action," and Sonic just, "Shut up, woman, I'm doing the job." And at the end, if only at the end, she actually steps her foot down, finally. Also, in a couple of the episodes, like, she's completely, tossed in the background because it's about someone else entirely, But again, fine. The idea of giving her Nicole as the robotic assistant is actually a nice touch. I like that too. I can imagine at the time kids were fascinated because technology of that kind was like still a dream. I guess what Linkara said is true. We are really living in a future of some kind.
Damn straight.
Anyway, Sonic. Sonic is very annoying to me in this show. He sounds constantly, wants to spew his catchphrases, steps on everyone else, as his usual cocky attitude that gets him into trouble most of the times, and he gets away only because he has superpowers, only rarely learning a lesson. I get that it was supposed to be the appeal, the character with the attitude, but gotta be honest, if I watched this as a kid, I would have been actually preferred to root for Sally generally. But okay, it's not like he's evil or anything. It's just that I've seen better protagonists, especially in video game adaptations and shows. Tails, I wish he did more stuff.
Season 3.
Yeah. He has like these one or two moments where he shines, but there's that. Otherwise, he stays there holding the fort, and sometimes having this awkward sort of, having this Sally as a sort of surrogate parental figure, which is odd. But again, it's fine. Again, on his own, it's just that he needed to be more, to be used more. Antoine is.
Antoine.
I don't like Antoine, but even the one, it does remind me generally of characters seen in Speed Riding 3, where Lex Nips, where he doesn't learn any of his lessons, and next episode he's still there doing his old pompadour stick, and he's a stereotype. I actually do wonder what French people think of him.
That's one thing I highly doubt, Doctor, considering their track record.
But anyway, that's pretty much it. Antoine is the character that was used mostly for comic relief, but the problem is that it's falls flat in space, and I do wonder, even at the time, it was actually more appealing, this kind of behavior. I get the idea because we also cast Rob Paulsen, because Animaniacs, so the thought process was behind that, at the very least.
The issue with Antoine is like, well, it seemed like they were going somewhere with him in Season 1, but then in Season 2... it was like he got contractually obligated to be the comic relief. Again, it's a sad thing because Season 3 was going to have him actually growing out of it, but again, Season 3 got canned. Thank you so much,
I'm not going to comment
Disney.
much on the minor characters like the Ram guy because we don't really have much of a presence. They're fine for the setting they're supposed to be in and for the one episode, cases that they're in, but that's it.
What about Chuck?
All right, Uncle Chuck. Interesting figure, but I do believe these past two have been explored a bit more, especially when we learned that he was the one who invented the roboticizer. It's cool that towards the end of the season, he gets more stuff to do, and we get the episode dedicated to him being found out that he's the spy. But I don't know, I do believe there was like something missing, like him kicking more ass or something like that. Considering also we cast a sort of celebrity to voice him, I get the idea that they did not have much to work with the character for them because of that. Anyway, the one last thing I want to mention, the villain side. Robotnik is fantastic for most of the season. Maybe towards the end starts losing a bit of pristine because he decides voluntarily to let Sonic get in, probably with the idea of trapping him for that robotization machine. But otherwise, it is probably one of the better portrayal of Robotnik ever. Like, sinister, but he's not an idiot. He gets his sense of humor in a dark way. Snively functions well for a sidekick, which has his own agenda. Shame we never got to see what he was gonna do. But that was fine too. So, overall, I like the submission that I can give. It's a mixed bag. It probably was better when it came out, but nowadays there are better stuff to see. As for the Sonic, but more locally for the Sonic franchise, from my limited experience, I can tell this is probably one of the better of the adaptations. But that's not saying much coming from me. But it was a nice experience seeing it. Next.
Sure.
Well, I don't really have much to say, really. I'm guessing, because I only saw this show sporadically, and it wasn't exactly aired in order at all. It was quite random. I'm guessing season 2 was what people refer to when people talk about how great this show was, because yes, it is a lot more cohesive. It is a lot more interesting. Like even with the executive mandated nonsense aside, because otherwise this show is just it's good, but there are a lot of issues, and I mean a lot of them, mostly for season 1 though.
It's like looking back at an old N64 game. They're generally looked very fondly on, but we do recognize that they had a lot of jank to them.
I mean, I still enjoyed this show for the most part, a handful of episodes aside. Would that season 3 would have been nice, if only for Antoine's sake.
I know, right? That said, though, I gotta say, Dulcie was a very welcome surprise that, making the best out of an executively mandated character, all things considered.
Oh, yes. No, she actually had, I pointed it out a couple of times, but yeah, she's seen some improvement for the last 2 or 3 episodes. It was really good to see. Yeah, I don't really have much else to say about this. It is a good show. I'd probably say I haven't actually seen all of Boom. I've barely watched Boom. I lost interest quite quickly. So I would say this is still the best Sonic show. And it did a lot for the comics. A certain someone aside who still says that his comic is on its way. I did bite the bullet, and I know I did, while you were talking, I did bite the bullet and actually check the man's Twitter account, for better or worse.
Oh boy,
he swears it's still on its way. I don't believe him, but
I swear.
Even as far as a few days ago, he's like, no, it's people are asking him. It's like, no, it's still on its way. It's like, sure, dude.
Let's see. Last I checked, I think he was working on page 6.
Last time I checked, he'd completed the cover.
Joe, that's a bit generous. I reckon he's probably not even done page 2.
Okay, I think I might.
Actually, not even as soon as a few days ago. It was a few hours ago. Okay.
I swear, I've heard him talk more about the special app he's making for for that.
I didn't know about this, but this probably isn't the time to talk about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was a good show. Again, Sonic's best probably in terms of TV show representation. Yeah, it's fine. Next.
All right, Pedro.
Yeah, this is still, despite the issues that we've already talked about, specifically from Teo and even Shiroi, this is still my personal favorite of the Sonic shows, because I feel like it's more because of its vision rather than its execution, I will admit. Because like we've said, the execution does have flaws in it, especially in Season 1. But with Season 2, they were starting to get genuine improvements, and I do have faith that Season 3 would have received even further improvements. And like Teo said, this show was clearly ahead of its time and was at a time where it was hard to make a show like this because, like Teo said, Ben and his team had to basically fight the executives all the way through
Yeah.
to even make this. So the fact that the show is the way it is at the very least good is already an achievement from their perspective.
I'm legit happy for them in that the show was a success, very popular. Again, it literally only got canned because of being screwed over by the network as opposed to it, being a show lacking in ratings.
Much like Spectacular Spider-Man.
Oh, God, yeah.
It's, this is to me how Sonic should be executed in terms of story and tone. And I don't mean just in a show, in everything. Because this, as in, we implement, like Naoto said, we implement a nature versus technology angle that he came up with when he was originally coming up with all the designs for the game, for the original game. We implement character. The humor is character-driven, rather than being meta humor like in Sonic Boom. But don't get me wrong, Sonic Boom is fine, it's decent. I'm not trying to diss a Sonic Boom show.
I can understand, if meta humor is not your thing, I can understand why.
That's not the issue. I'm a Nerfing Jim fan. So it's not like I just like meta humor. That's not the issue. It's just that, and to be fair, this is not Sonic Boom's fault per se. It's just that I'm personally tired of the series' self-aware direction. But that's a topic for another day. The point is, this is to me how Sonic should be handled, with a tone that is balanced, as in not too serious and not too look, we're funny, type of thing. There's a good balance of having some good storylines, character-driven humor, which is because to me, Sonic is at its best when, even in the games, the Sonic humor is at its best when it's being character-driven humor, like in the first Sonic Riders, for example. So yeah, and I really enjoy that, and I really love the art direction. The animation has its issues, like we've pointed out, but the overall art direction of this show is fantastic. Like Teo said, they capture the Blood Runner type of atmosphere perfectly. So definitely kudos to that. So yeah, so I really appreciate this show for trying to get a balance in terms of the tone and the story rather than going from either extreme like all the other shows do. Not to say that don't get me wrong, I like adventures, but I do think this is the best way to go about for Sonic personally. Because again, remember, Sonic was always about, from the very beginning, Sonic was supposed to be a counter to the established conventions of the time, in the same, the anti-Mario, for lack of a better term. So it makes sense for Sonic to do something that's not what the Mario cartoon was doing. Because don't get me wrong, the Adventures cartoon was definitely much better than the Super Mario Bros. Super Show. Definitely.
Oh yeah.
But this to me feels much more like an anti-Mario cartoon than the Adventures cartoon.
Just remember, folks, behind all the bright and colorful visuals of Sonic 1, there was a lot of pain and suffering that cute little blue hedgehog had to put a stop to.
And the animals. Yeah, the basic point is, I really like the show, the show's overall tone and the overall concepts, because they do a good job in bringing Naoto Oshima's vision to life. The characters, aside from Antoine, I don't really mind any of them. Really, I like Dulcie fine personally.
Yeah.
I don't think she's nearly, even before she gets her development, I don't think she's all that bad. So definitely nowhere near as bad as Antoine. Antoine is the only character that genuinely annoys me to hell, because the show never at any point in these 2 seasons there's that gives him some kind of redemption for all for all of his cowardness stuff. It's like we're constantly expecting him to improve upon his flaws, but he never does, which again we were supposed to get in season 3, but hey, what can we say? The basic point is, I actually really like the character dynamics in particular, especially with Sonic and Sally, and especially in the latter half of season 2, Sonic and Nicole. When Sonic teaches Nicole how to talk Sonicese, I guess that's the best way I can nickname this language.
He teaches her the rule of cool.
Yeah, the rule of cool. Because I love when Nicole, like, just because of the context, I just love when Nicole refers to Sonic as my main man.
My main hedgehog.
My main hedgehog, yeah. So yeah, that's actually pretty funny to me. So yeah, again, this is how I like my Sonic humor, character driven. So yeah, really enjoyed the character-driven humor here, and the overall character dynamics. Aside from that, no, the score is fine. The animation is a bit iffy on points, but then again, this is Dick. I guess even at their best, Dick is always that problem with their animation, I guess.
Tight budget.
Yeah, true. But anyway, yeah, it's still the show that I prefer, like, mostly because of content. Because like a show like this in the hands of talented writers without executive managing would have been amazing to have. But I guess you can say I genuinely love what this show represents and what it tries to go for.
So Pedro, does that make Ben Hurst and his team the Freedom Fighters, while the studio execs are the equivalent to Robotnik, trying to enforce the standard on them?
It would be Snively.
Yeah, basically.
ABC would be Disney. I mean, ABC would be Snively.
It is Disney.
Sorry, ABC would be Snively. Yeah.
But that's it for me, really. I still enjoy the show despite its flaws, mostly because of what it tries to be.
Dwibs, go on.
Me personally, I don't have really a set preference on what I think the tone and stuff for Sonic should be. Really, the only thing I fancy it to be is good, whatever it tries to do. And for the most part, I think this particular era was very good. I mean, obviously, like every other TV show ever made, there are a few issues. Yeah, some of the issues the guys have already gone over, so I won't repeat any of them. But for the most part, it's a very well executed, more dramatic take on Sonic with some comedy as well. So, as we've seen with the likes of Sonic 06, going if you go too far in one direction and are bad at it at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And honestly, I haven't got much else to say. You guys have already summed up the pros and cons of this particular era. All I will say is if you gave me the option of watching any Sonic show, personally, I'd rather take maybe I might lean slightly towards Adventures, mainly because of how crazy it is. And I like crazy.
Nothing wrong with that.
Well, provided it's not crazy as in
Santa Claus Conquers the Martians.
I haven't seen that one.
It's a bad movie.
I see. I think it's an enjoyable kind of bad, but still bad nonetheless. But go on, Dweebs.
Okay, I'd say as long as you don't go so far as shows that are trying to be so bad as good, because in my opinion, those kind of shows never work.
Yeah.
Yeah. But overall, I really do enjoy this show, warts and all. Makes me wonder what Sonic show we're doing next.
Sonic Underground.
No, thank you.
Sonic Underground. But still, they
least
made
the
a
phone's
cloud
happy,
that
then.
That were
would
written
be
by-
found.
Ben Hurst wrote some of
Lies.
that too. So.
The mother will casually stalk her children from episode to episode, but never actually interact. I know I'm not joking.
My headcanon for that is the mom just died.
Okay, my thoughts on the show. Okay, this is my first time. This was my first time getting to see the show properly, all of it, as opposed to just maybe a few stray episodes here and there. What do I think? Overall, a good experience. I'm not quite sure if I'd peg it as my favorite Sonic show, but it's definitely in the top tier of Sonic shows in my opinion. Yeah, honestly, for its time, this was kind of amazing as a video game tie-in series. One that was based off of a video game series that didn't have the most deepest lore at the time here and there. The characters are nice and varied and bounced off of each other pretty well here and there. The animation is well crafted to establish the moods and settings for our adventures and feelings here and there. The music does its job properly. It may not be of the highest quality, but I see this show as something that pretty much did not let its budget harbor its potential for greatness. Because holy cow, is it? Yeah, it's pretty damn good, honestly. Even with Season 1's more obvious quirks here and there, there's definitely a lot to like about Season 1. Season 2 ramps stuff up quite a notch here and there. Now, which season you like better will depend. Now, Season 2 has the more streamlined and more consistent writing, with Ben Hurst taking over the helm here and there for the most part. However, with that does come some caveats, like obviously sometimes more favored characters of his might get more spotlight here and there. Typical. Yeah, I'd say both seasons have a lot to enjoy about them. I definitely do like this take on the roboticizer, starting off as something that was actually supposed to help people, most so the elderly here and there. Obviously, it got warped into something pretty terrible. Thanks a lot, Robotnik. Maybe Season 3 was going to be seen about them actually using it properly. But yeah, I honestly really enjoy the series here and there. The voice acting is all very good. This has a pretty great cast. I will give this about Antoine. He is definitely the weakest link, but even he does have good moments here. The problem is that it's easy to forget those good moments because the show forgets about them as well and doesn't build off of them. Now, I will say this, I kind of suspect that Antoine was sort of the fall guy for a lot of the executive mandates of Season 2, i.e., the writers wanted to limit as much damage as the executive mandates would do, so they pretty much channeled it all into, the one character, Antoine, here. Like, that's the best reason I can see why Antoine pretty much got the shaft in regards to the writing here and there. And like I said, okay, I always liked Dulcie. Her being voiced by Cree Summer definitely helped, but honestly, I'm happy to see that Dulcie does legit become a better character, all things considered. Like, she could have been like a lot of executively mandated characters and just have been there, but no, the writers actually did try. They did try with what they had. Heck, they even incorporated her into Out of the Past here and there. Too interesting effect here and there. And explaining about how she's kind of one of the last of her species, which Robotnik roboticized and masked here and there. Speaking of the voice cast, yeah, I love the voice cast. Like, everyone has a voice that just fits them like a glove. It's great here and there. The action's good. Already talked about the music and it being fine. Yeah. I really enjoyed this show. It was nice to finally get to see it properly and full here and there. And I certainly look forward to our follow-up commentary series of Sonic Underground, which combines both the good and the bad of the past.
See ya.
See you then.
See ya.
Oh, wait, sorry, we'll see you next time when we juice and jam way past cool, serious, and we'll do it to it.
Serious.
See you in about 5 years then, Sonic.
And me.
See you then.
See ya.